this is Christina. This is Flosstube number 5. It's the 29th of August and I'd like to think I'm getting a little bit better at these. First off, I've had a rubbish week, so I'm late filming this on Sunday. I'm fine, but my car is no longer fine. I had a low speed accident, unfortunately. It was enough to write off my car because I sneezed. Yeah, so I'm currently waiting for an insurance claim to go through, and I'm going to miss my Billie. I will include a picture here of Billie because she was my pride and joy, and I'm going to miss her a lot. Very sad, actually. The rest of the week was fine until that point, and yeah, it all just went to well, hell in a handbasket basically after that. So I mean, I'm lucky I didn't involve anybody else in the accident. It was just my car and a safety railing, and I wasn't hurt. So whilst it's probably going to be the most expensive sneeze I'll ever have in my life, it could have been a lot worse. So anyway, on to cross stitch, because this is why I do these videos, to keep me focused on stitching on my projects. Although admittedly I've done very little this week, on the latter part of this week, because I really just was not in the mood to stitch much, and I was tired because the stress of the accident just knocked me for 6. So, but we'll start with the golden oldie, which I'm sure most of you will actually recognise. This is Tiger Lily from Nora Corbett. This is actually unfortunately out of print and very sought after and difficult to get. I borrowed it from someone who was passing it around, and so I was very lucky to get to stitch this design. It's on a Pole Stitches fabric called Earth from memory. I did make some changes on her wings. I changed the metallics to silver, and I changed some of the bead colours to silver rather than gold. So she's stunning. And I believe I might have changed the shading on her legs to the other way around, because she, on the chart I think she had, there was some shading somewhere on the skin I changed, that she had a darker bit where I thought it should be lighter. I can't remember off the top of my head now. But yeah, another one, beautiful, finished, not framed. I need to do something about this. The stitching that I did this week, in no particular order I don't think, was the first one to show you is the Linen and Threads 2017 Mystery, and I'm just a little bit close to finishing the June band on this one. Those of you that have seen this one before will know that this is stitched on a 48 count Graziano, 38 count Graziano linen in a bright red with DMC 310, and I will finish it eventually. My goal this year is to get it about 3/4 done, so yes, we'll get there eventually. Still optimistic that I will get that one done this year. This is another one that you've definitely seen very recently. I spun a wheel of projects and included in it all the ones that are on my Whipco board that I haven't yet finished, and this one popped up twice. So I did some more stitching on a recipe for A Magical Night, which is by Alessandra Adelaide. I believe this was in the 2011 Just Cross Stitch Halloween edition, but it's also one that I think you can purchase on her website. So just a bit more done on this one. It's now I think 72% complete. This one is on a 28 count white Monaco, and stitched with the called for DMC including the DMC satins in fluorescent yellow and green. So yeah, this one, the target is to get it finished this year. I'm quite optimistic I'll get there. Yeah, I don't think it'll be finished in time for Halloween though. Next is one that I'm doing, Extreme Cross Country. It's a Aframov painting of the Eiffel Tower, and so I'm currently working on the black only on this one and on the second row of pages down. So this is only half of the project. I've folded it over for ease of handling. This one is on a 28 count even weave from a company called Vedigan. It's gridded in sulky sliver thread to make it easier to do the extreme cross country, and I haven't made much progress. The goal for this year is to get this one to 25% complete. I'll be honest, it's looking unlikely. I think it needs about another 14,500 stitches to get there, but I'm still going to try. And oh, I didn't bring the frog in, never mind. This one is a Pandemic by Long Dog Samplers, and I took out all the bit that I'd done wrong that was here. I took about 3 hours because it's on quite high count linen, 34 count. And then I started putting it back right again. So not a huge amount of progress, but at least I've taken out all the stuff that's wrong. So this one is on 34 count natural linen from Vedigan, and it's in sulky 12/8 cotton blendable in colour 4007. So hopefully we'll make some more progress on this one. There's no goal for this one for this year at all, but I'm sure I'll put one in for next year. And final piece of stitching I did this week was on Sublime Stitches, and I'll admit I didn't do very much on it. This one is on a 28 count lavender linen, and the only bit I did was this row of cross stitches of beads and this row of stitches here, which is part of a design. So let's bring that in a bit closer so that you can see. I mean, to be fair, this was the night I had the car accident. Let's see if I can get it to focus as well. That would help. I cover my face up mostly. Yeah, and so I was really not in a great place mentally. But hopefully I'll be fine. And I've only got one piece of haul this week, which I was expecting soon, but it was delayed due to an unfortunate error by the post office. It was this, and as you can see, I've been through it and marked the things that I'd like to stitch. I ordered it from Sparkly's, and they posted it to me drop and go, and no postage was put on it. So I had to pay a fee to collect it, but no problem. Contacted Sparkly's, and they refunded me the fee I had to pay with no hesitation. So it wasn't her fault, it was post office error, and it just delayed it getting it to me slightly. But if you'd like to see the things I want to stitch, or maybe all the things I like, the first one is this one. I'm not sure if I'll ever stitch it, but I am aware that it does go with some previous designs. I think there was an owl, and I can't remember the other one, but there's 3 or 4 of these on black fabric now, which all go as a set. I love it. I love the cat's eye and the purple. Not sure I'd keep it purple. I'd probably change it to a green or an amber, but it's still really interesting. There's this one from the Witchy Stitcher, which I love, absolutely love the turquoise and orange combination on this one, and it's so traditionally not what you'd expect for a Halloween design, but is still Halloween. Yeah, so quite looking forward to this one. There's this Biscornu by Evdokia Nikolaeva from Panochka, and I've already got one of her designs as a work in progress, which is another one from a previous Halloween magazine. yeah, this one's quite cute, and I like biscornies even if I don't have a purpose for all the ones that I make now. They're very, very simple to finish, and yet they look really interesting, and people go, oh, that's clever, when it's really not that clever. So I like that one. And you see I was reasonably organised today because I actually put markers on all the pages. There's this one I mentioned before from Autumn Lane Stitchery called Current Mood. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure I want to talk about my current mood. Just fed up. And there's this page of ornaments. I like this one, and I like this one that says pick your poison. I like this one which is reminiscent of Jack Skellington. So there's a few there that I'd stitch. I really need to make some ornaments because I do have a Gotham's tree that we get out every year for the whole of October and some of November, and we decorate it up with Halloween stuff before we change over to a Christmas tree. There's this one which is from Sheila Michael, I believe, which I think is great. Could see me doing that one. I don't think it would take very long to stitch. There's an awful lot of it that's just back stitch. Yeah. What else? Oh, more ornaments. There is, I like this one, and I like this one. And this one is from Anna Chinotto of Stitching in the Rain, and this is another one from Evdokia Nikolaeva of Panochka. And possibly this one, which is from Liz Almond of Blackwood Journey. This is the second Autumn Lane Stitchery design in the magazine, and I like it. I think it's very clever how he's used the moon as the background for the owl. Yeah, really like it. And he likes murky, so I'm going to have to get clever at dyeing something that looks like murky, because my last attempt wasn't as dramatic as that. There's this one which says it's by Shannon Grierson of Bobbin and Thread, and this one appeals to me because it's quite a witty design. Beginning, it's a wreath of flowers, and in traditional sort of Berlin wool work you would quite often get wreaths of flowers with parrots and birds and things on it, but clearly this is a raven skeleton, and it's got some spiders in it and a spider web and a mouse or a rat up there. So it's a play on the traditional Victorian style motifs that were very, very popular amongst more well-off young ladies, shall we say. And nearly there. There's this one which is from Karen Kluber of Rosewood Manor, another amazingly talented designer. I think I do it on a plainer background so that more of the details in the pumpkin would show up. I feel like they're a little bit lost on this fabric, but I do think turning the vine that comes off the pumpkin into a boo is very clever. And I think there's two more that I'd like. And who can't resist a sloth? Everybody loves a sloth, right? I like a sloth. A sloth and a witch's hat is adorable. So that one might have to be done. And finally, there's this one which says Hocus Pocus, I need coffee to focus. Now, I don't actually drink a lot of coffee, but I know people that do, and I know people that do actually need it to cope with life. So I could think of quite a few people I could give this to. But I think it's very, very good. I like that one. So all in all, there's a lot in there that I'd stitch. I don't know, as you can see, there's a summary of the designs in the magazine, and there are a lot of fabulous things to stitch and make. I didn't cover nearly half of it at all, so I think it's well worth the money. I don't think Sparkly's has got any more left because she did them on pre-order, but if you want next year's, always worth asking about next year's nearer the time. So about August I think she does the pre-order, which brings me on to my favourite shop of the week, which would be Sparkly's. Amazing lady, Kate, great fabric dyer, and very helpful getting things that I can't get easily in the UK. And finally, Flosstuber of the week would be a Dutch lady called Ingeborg. I think I said that right. If I didn't, I'm sorry. Her channel is called A Stitch Too Far. She doesn't make videos that regularly, which makes me kind of sad, but she has some fabulous works in progress, and I really enjoy seeing occasional updates. I think she's on Instagram more than she is on YouTube, but I don't go on Instagram a huge amount. I think I should, but I'd probably never emerge, to be honest. And yeah. And finally, lipstick of the week is from ColorPop, and it's a blue based pink called Driven. And who doesn't like great pink lipstick? I've actually nearly used the whole tube up, and I might have to go and find a replacement soon because it's one of my favourites. And hopefully I will see you next week, and with a bit of luck I will have a newer card to show you, a card that's not broken and in a recovery yard, a nice, new to me, it won't be new, but new to me card, and I'll be back to being mobile again. But until then, goodbye and happy stitching.